Fargo Denning here, and today is a big day at Random Destinations. I know you've all been looking forward to it, and it's finally here. Today is the last episode of Season 1 of Random Destinations. Yeah, I know. Calm down. Calm down. Yep. Alright, just everyone settle down. I know you're all excited about that. But I have good news. There will be a Season 2. I know, caught you off guard, didn't it? Yeah, well, calm down again. Just let it go, let it go. We will be back probably in first weeks or a couple of weeks of April, whenever I get some new video ready to go. I have a few construction projects coming up here at the studio, and I got to get that out of the way before I can do any traveling. So anyway, today, for the final episode, I'm going to walk down and show you the new studio that I'm really proud of. It actually works. That's why I'm proud of it. It's better than what I had. And we all know what I had was pretty damn poor. And I'm also going to answer the number one question I've received here in Series 1, which is, how do you make such crappy videos? And I'll tell you, it's a lot harder than you'd think. I learned that when I first put the camera in front of me, that it was going to be a hobby that was going to take some actual effort. Unlike the previous hobby I had, which was the Porsche, it didn't take any effort, it just took a lot of money. But both of them have been fun. But right now, this is my hobby. So, before I get any further, I don't know if you caught this, but I said good morning, Traveleers. That's the new official name of all of my viewers. And I know you'd be proud to be called out in public as a Traveleer, particularly because it's a made-up name that I just made up. But I had to do it for a reason, and let me show you here. It's because I went ahead and ordered 1,000 of these snazzy business cards. And then when I got them, I realized, why in the hell did I do that? This isn't a business. So now I've got 990 some business cards I have to get rid of. So I've decided, instead of calling these business cards, I'm going to call these Random Destination Traveleer membership cards. Pretty impressive, huh? Pretty great idea? Yeah, I know. You can take these cards, once I figure out how to get them from me to you without spending $1.50 to mail something that costs 3.3 cents. But once I get that little detail worked out, you'll be able to take this card virtually anywhere. And I, whatever my name is this episode, will guarantee you present this at checkout in restaurants, stores, auto repair shops, car lots, wherever you're going to go. You just slap this card down and I will guarantee you'll get 25 to 50% off of nothing. Not a penny. But you'll really make an ass of yourself, and it'll give some visibility for me. So, enough of the background stuff. Let's go down. I'll swing the camera around if I can remember how to do that. And we'll go down and take a look at the new studio, because today's episode is going to be filmed entirely now in the new studio. Now I know what a lot of you are probably thinking. You're probably thinking to yourself, if you got a new studio, can I have the old one? Well, no. I still plan on using the old studio. It's just it didn't work out very well in freezing rain, thunderstorms, or snow. So the new studio has had a complete makeover, which Edith May is still recovering from. The loss of this room was a devastating blow for her. But anyway, if you'll remember, we did an earlier episode, I think it was the first special edition episode, where I showed off the studio, and you can tell the studio's changed quite a bit. So come on in and I will give you the tour. The first thing that you're going to notice is I now have backdrops. I have more than one backdrop. And if you look up here at the top, I have a 10-foot rod up there, and you're probably wondering, what in the hell are you going to do with a 10-foot rod? Well, I'll tell you, for Christmas, somebody made the mistake of giving me a 10 by 15 green sheet or green screen. So I'm going to be playing around with that and trying to figure out if I can do something interesting. I know I can do something funny. I just don't know if I can do anything interesting. Now I've also put up these, they're not artworks. I know they look like a work of art, but I made that myself based on information I got off YouTube channels. These are actually acoustic dampening panels, and much to my surprise, they really work pretty well. Now over here on the other wall, I have 3 more of these panels, and then if I position the desk roughly in the middle, they actually do a pretty good job. Now, I also ended up buying a new computer because I found out that my 8-year-old Mac wouldn't handle the processor, or the memory wouldn't handle dealing with large video files. So I have a new setup down here. As you can see, I had the table all spread out for today's episode on how to make crappy videos. I finally have a place where I can store everything that I need to make these crappy videos. And I have the lighting worked out, and I believe I have the audio worked out, which if you watch my early videos, there were major problems with audio, and I'm going to explain why that was. But anyway, I can sit here now and pretend like I'm in something that has a block background, plank background, and it's a lot nicer. So this is the new studio, and you will see it whenever the weather's bad and I need to do voiceovers or do some front and back shots at the end of the videos. Otherwise, I will put this back up this summer and we'll continue working out here. So let's go ahead and stop this and move in and get going with the real video. Okay, I'm back, and let's get started on top 10 reasons why the Crapple iPhone 7 is a piece of shit if you're trying to make YouTube videos. So let's start with number 1. What's the first thing you do when you go spend $750 or $1,000 on a camera? Well, I don't know about you, but the first thing I do is I run out and buy an indestructible case to put it in. That way you're sure your camera is going to be fine. You can do anything you want. Unfortunately, when I started doing YouTube videos, what I discovered was that's the simplest way to basically negate any attachment you can put on it, because that's designed to keep things out of it, and you're trying to attach things to it. So first thing I had to do was take the camera out of this and get it down buck naked again. Number 2 on the list, this thing, the lightning wire connection that Apple has decided in their wisdom, this is the way they want to go with everything. One universal port. Now I understand European Union is suing them, trying to get them to drop this, and I think that's a great idea based on my experience. But anyway, here's what the problem was with that. As soon as that came out, everybody that had an Apple product got one of these free. It was a new set of headphones to replace these, which used to work with every Apple product until they went to this. Now I can live without the headphones. I don't use them that much, but what I found you can't live without is this, the 3.5 millimeter connection. So, you know, Apple said, well, here, we'll fix that. We'll just send you this little piece of shit. You can just plug your little old headphones in, plug this in, and it'll work great. And it does. It works really great until you try to hook anything other than a pair of headphones in, because apparently, based on my research, every single thing you plug into this, it thinks it's a pair of headphones. So first thing I tried was taking a regular microphone like this one right here and plugging it in there, going, great, I'll be able to now get good audio, which this thing does not do. But no, because it wouldn't work, because the Apple iPhone was convinced this was just a fancy headphone. So I thought, well, we can live without that. We'll just go buy one of these. A little torpedo thing made to fit in. Yeah, it won't fit in if your phone's in a case, but if you make your case naked and stick this in, there you go, you're all set. Now, that doesn't work either. The giveaway should have been the little drawing of headphones on the back. I think that means plug it into the headphone jack, but when you plug it in to the into the iPhone, it doesn't do anything. So there was another $2.85 at eBay down the toilet. So eventually I went back to this one again, determined to try to make this work. So the first thing I did when I realized that this wasn't going to help was I started doing some research to find out what the problem was, and apparently the problem was it wasn't one of these. It looks pretty much the same, but this is a microphone extension. And when I plugged this into this, on anything other than the Crapple iPhone 7, my microphone worked fine. So what I ended up going was getting one of this, which is not to be confused with this, even though they look the same. This one thinks everything's headphones. This one apparently does have that third channel in, so that when I plugged this in, my microphone now started to work. So big improvement. I now had sound on it. So I thought, well, I'll just go ahead now and buy me one of these lapel ones. And it worked great, as long as I wasn't using it with the Crapple iPhone 7. If I used it with my tablet, if I used it with my iPod Touch, if I used it with anything else, it worked great. Don't know what the problem with that is, and at this point in life, I don't really give a shit what the problem is. But eventually, I was able to solve this problem, again, thanks to YouTube. Yes, it was YouTube. By buying this. This is a Boya camera / smartphone microphone. Apparently the key to it is this is self-powered. Whereas this one is not self-powered, this is not self-powered. It gets its power from the phone. This one has its own. And when I plugged this one in to this mating sequence and plugged it into the Crapple iPhone 7, all of a sudden I had good audio. So the biggest problem I'd had, first of all, had to do with this lightning adapter and trying to get the audio, because the audio on this iPhone I thought was absolutely chintzy and atrocious. Now, once I got all of this taken care of and could push it out of the way, I went out and bought, well, first I bought the cheapest selfie stick you could buy, and I tried doing a little filming on it. I think it was the episode where we're off to the airport. And the 2-minute section I did was so wobbly I could hardly watch it. But at that point it was too late and it went out. But when you see it, you know it. So, well, that's not going to work. Because if I come to find out, the Apple iPhone really has crappy stability in it. It just doesn't do a good job. Even walking, you get seasick walking with it. So I went out then and bought this, I think it's a Joby tripod. And this I really liked. This allowed me then to put that phone down on here and take it with me and carry it. And it did help quite a bit with the stability issues with the iPhone. It didn't work as good as this, the last thing I bought. And this is the Osmo 3, I think it is. It's a gimbal. I really like it. It really does a good job. It has an app you can put on your piece of crap iPhone that will link to it, and you can operate it off your iPhone, or you can operate it off the thing here. It has a built-in battery, which theoretically would have let that phone run for up to 15 hours, which would have been nice. But there were some issues with that too. So most of my videos were filmed with this and this, and that solved most of my problems. All right, break. Now, if we were filming this in front of a live studio audience, the next question would be, well, you've solved all your problems. What else could go wrong? Any takers? Any guess? Well, I'll tell you what the first thing that goes wrong is. Once I get this set up on top of this, and get my phone on it, and get her all hunky-doried up, get it positioned, turn it on, get it recording, go sit down, and in 23 minutes of video, my battery's dead on the phone, and I have to stop for an hour. Really nice. Really, really, really a nice thing. If I plug it into here, which it does have, you know, the ability to plug the phone right in here and power it off the battery in this, then I lose my audio. So I have to choose between, do I want audio or do I want battery life and video? But I can't apparently have both with an iPhone 7. So most of the time, I went with the phone life and just suffered through with the built-in microphone on the phone. I also bought a couple of these battery packs. They're fairly cheap. They do a good job, but they're not real fast. So when you plug something in, you might as well take an hour break. Well, if you're trying to film something on the go, you can't just stop and take an hour break. So that didn't really work out all that well. Now, the last problem that pretty much sunk the iPhone 7 for me was if you now resolved stability, you resolved the audio, you've resolved the microphone issues, you have the battery issue under control, what could possibly go wrong? Well, just take a wild ass guess. So you're sitting there filming and filming and filming, and what happens now? Your phone runs out of memory. Because your phone only has, at least my phone only had 32 gigabytes of storage on it, 16 of which are taken up by apps. So half the memory that phone has is wasted on all the crap you don't use on the phone as apps. So by the time I stripped all that down, I was able to get it down to, I think, 12 or 13 gigabytes for the system. But still, the phone, I was lucky to make it through one day before I maxed out the memory. So, and most of these things you got to understand, the audio and the stability things, and the battery, I was able to figure out here. And I was able to figure out here before our Viking cruise because I was doing fairly short videos, 5-minute walks maybe. And I'd come back and check it and see what worked and what didn't, and I'd come do another one. Once we left on our vacation, that's when I ran into a major problem. And what happened was that when that ran out of memory, I had to immediately stop, find a Wi-Fi hotspot, upload everything to the cloud, recharge my phone, and pick up again. Now, I can tell you that I went dead at the top of Mount Pilatus, and that really pissed me off. It happened on, Cologne? Just about every excursion, I ran out of battery or memory space. And that's one of the reasons my videos are so crappy. Now, I did get it down to where I was pretty good at it. However, about day number 7 into the Viking cruise, we went to Cologne. It was day 6 or 7. We went to Cologne and had a great time. We took a walking tour, went with my sister and her son, and we just really had a wonderful time. And I just got back to the ship and did everything exactly like I'd been doing it all the days before, and uploading everything to its own little file on my computer here. And when I got home, I opened that file up, and there was not a single picture or video there. Everything I did that day was lost. So, to put it mildly, my impression of the crapple iPhone 7 is it's a real pain in the ass if you want to try making videos. If you're going to somebody's birthday party, or you're going to the lake for an hour or 2 hours, or you're having a picnic, yeah, it'll work fine. If you're sitting in your living room and you can get enough lights on it that it can film, it'll do okay. If you're taking it out and trying to do it on a 14-day trip, no, it's a piece of shit. Don't take it. And I'll tell you what started me on this. I was watching a YouTube video by a girl who was hiking the Pacific Crest Trail, and she was backpacking, and she was filming every single day off a smartphone. And she was carrying her editing software with her. She was carrying her phone. She had a selfie stick, although she didn't use it a lot. And she had some type of solar power thing, or some type of power thing to let her go 2 or 3 days with making 5 and 10-minute videos every day. And from her comments, I knew she was not using an Apple phone because she referred to it, well, she might have been. She referred to it as just a cheap, crappy phone. But the picture was good and the sound was good, so I know it wasn't an Apple. And she was able to do that. So I thought, well, if she can do that, I can certainly do that with my $1,000 or $750 piece of shit here. And that's when I discovered all these problems. Okay, to wrap this up, the last thing I really want to talk about is video editing. Because I had no experience in video editing at all. It was something I was interested in figuring out how to work. And to be real honest, of all the pieces that go together to make a YouTube video, I found that I enjoy the editing more than any of it. I don't like being on camera. I don't think I'm particularly good at it. I don't think I come across good on camera. I have a good time, and I laugh because I'm old, and I don't care if anybody watches these or not. I'm enjoying myself, and I'm certainly learning something. But I did really want to learn the editing. So, not being
real familiar with Apple. I know iMovie was on there. I gave it a shot at the beginning, and it didn't even make it through the first video. I said, well, I don't know anything about doing this, but I know there's got to be a better way than this piece of junk. So it got taken off the computer, and I watched a few more YouTube videos and stumbled on Filmora 9. Now, the free version is about as good as Apple iMovie is, but the paid version is I think, excellent. I was able to pick it up, I think, pretty good, even though you can't tell looking at my videos. If you do videos and you watch them, you see each episode I tried something new that I didn't try before, and including right up into this studio. I'm learning a lot from it, and I enjoy it, and it was good. The first thing I learned, though, was that my computer wasn't any good for it. The processor was too slow, and it didn't have enough memory. And just about the time I got ready to hit the save button, it would crash, and I would lose everything. So, by the time I got to about episode, I don't know, 6 or 7 into this, I decided I was going to have to break down and buy a new desktop computer. And I did. I bought a 27-inch iMac with 40 gigabytes of RAM, and it works great. It's like a Cadillac. I can sit there and edit numerous channels, music, voiceovers, green screen, you name it, I can do it on there, and the computer handles it fine. So I think probably the last problem that I've resolved, and this just got resolved within the last couple weeks, was with the voiceovers. I have a indoor stand computer microphone that's powered off my desktop, and I was doing the voiceovers on my big computer upstairs, and I was getting a lot of echoes. But I was finally able to come up with some small acoustic panels made out of foam that everybody says don't work, but I was able to line them up and make me a little audio booth, and at least my ear says it's working a lot better. We'll see. So, in conclusion, first of all, I'm a big Apple fan. Always have been for 30 years. I think I currently have 8 Apple devices that I use. I love them, all except this. This I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the Apple iPhone 7 will be the last piece of shit Apple phone that I ever buy. It has been relegated, based on my experiences here. I have gone back and deleted every app off that phone that I can. I have relegated it down to a flip phone from track phone status. All I use it for anymore is to get phone calls. And I'll tell you how important that is. I get maybe 2 phone calls a week, and both of them start out with, as long as you're out, would you stop by and pick up blank? And I only make about 1 or 2 phone calls a week, and I can tell you those phone calls always start out with, okay, where are you? I've been wandering around the store for an hour. I give up. So that's what little use in life I have for a telephone. And that's what the iPhone 7 has become. It's just a grossly overpriced, crappy piece of electronics. I'm going to go buy a Samsung phone because there are situations when you're out doing this that the phone is certainly an asset to have, but I will attempt no more videos using the iPhone 7. Since the last few years, Apple has just been making stuff, in my opinion, the quality's gone down, the price has gone up, and even I'm fed up with it. So you may notice a difference in sound and film quality on this video because I'm trying out and using my new GoPro Hero 8 Black, which I just got about a month ago, and I'm still buying accessories and mods to go with it to use it every day. And it has some quirks that are going to take some getting used to, but the quality of it and the ease of using it is far superior to using an iPhone. So the short answer is, can you make YouTube videos on an iPhone 7? Yes, you can. Will they be great? No, they won't. Now, somebody's going to come back and say, well, look at this. I made a great one. Well, good for you. You're 20-something, and you probably put in 870 hours on it. I'm old, and I have no patience left, and I can afford to take pieces of junk like this and smash them with a hammer and throw them away and just tell everybody, don't ever buy one of these. So that's it, pretty much it for how I make my crappy videos. I know you were all excited to see that. And I think that pretty much wraps up season 1. A total of 23 videos. We had 20 episodes, 2 special editions, and the intro trailer, which surprisingly is my second most viewed video of all, and it is, even by my standards, god-awful bad. So we'll see what happens here in April. This is one of those rare times you might want to turn notifications on, because it's going to be a while before I put another video out, unless you want to watch the septic tank get pumped out, and I have to have my heat and air conditioning replaced. Somehow that doesn't even fall into random destinations. But anyway, that's it. So for now, until the start of season 2, this is, well, I can't read it. I think it's Carter Cash saying I'll see you later.